Hello friends, welcome to our channel. I hope you all doing great and ready to learn something new. As you all know, on our channel we talk about IT technologies, and now we are covering a lot about quality assurance. So today we will answer 5 most popular automation questions from manual testers. So, who will benefit from this video? Developing projects that do not have test automation yet and want to start with it, or QA analysts who are looking to start with test automation. Why do we need automation if our testers can do it manually anyway? Indeed, before introducing automation in a project, it's worth to consider the following factors: how long the project will live, how much or how often it will change. Evaluate how hard or time-consuming it's going to be to write autotests for each case. It is possible that automating your functionality will be much more difficult than just testing it by hand. Also, if the project is expected to cut out everything old and write new from scratch, the time for automation has not come yet. But if your project develops and grows steadily, the number of developers is increasing, the application begins to acquire new functionalities, then the testing time will begin to increase in the same proportion. Sooner or later, it will reach a critical moment when doing regression testing by hand takes a lot of time. This means it's time to start thinking about automation. Autotests will ensure that nothing of the old has fallen off while developers are working on cool new things, especially when these things were done in completely different parts of the code. Manual regression in this case is of course good, but there is a human factor, a blurry eye, or unpredictability of the places where the bug can emerge. At the same time, manual testing is not going anywhere, since new functionalities will be still tested by hand. It makes no sense to automate something that may not take off and will be cut in a week or sent for revision. But instead of engaging manual testers with only writing test cases for new functionalities, supporting documentation, or constant regression, we can allocate at least 1 day a week for automation. Help to start with the infrastructure settings, and in a few months they will start driving the first auto test. This way, tasks will reach releases many times faster, and the company will become more confident in the stability of the released code. Automated regression also allows testers to spend more time on useful tasks, for example, exploratory testing. In addition, there will be a better understanding how the application works under the hood, which will definitely come in handy. Can I start writing autotests in 1 day? Of course, you can start autotest right at this very moment. However, you should not rush and approach it meaningfully. If the project does not have automation yet, then you definitely should start with reworking existing tools, frameworks, and approaches. Read about the problems users face and how quickly it can be resolved. Evaluate all pros and cons about different frameworks and choose the one which will suit the best and will be pleasant to work with. The cost of the error is much less at the start than when you already actively automating and suddenly realize that the framework you have chosen is not suitable and not convenient at all. If you have never done autotests, of course it can be difficult at first, especially when you do not have any examples you can rely on. Fortunately, nowadays on the internet there are a lot of articles with a lot of code examples that you can take, customize, and use it for yourself. At the end, to learn how to automate, you just need to start automating. It really works. Ideally, at the beginning you can find a developer who can help you out to understand the code and answer all your questions. But it is possible that your team might not have time to help you out with this. Unfortunately, this can be the case and you should not blame them. Our team has a great program where you can learn automation. You will be working with a personal coach who will be ready to answer all your questions, and in this case, you will definitely succeed. Can you become an automation engineer without manual testing experience? It is possible if you have experience in programming, and in some companies this really works. Manual testers will write test cases and then it will be transferred to automation engineer who will take off and write the code. In general, this approach is valid. However, there are some disadvantages. Firstly, when you yourself write automation tests for the functionality you know well, you can add some checks along the way that you might have missed while writing test cases. Plus, you know other autotests that you can add. Therefore, it's much easier for you to maintain the relevance of autotests. Secondly, testing automation is very interesting and useful. You start to study the code, expand the knowledge about the product, and understand how it works from the inside. This is useful for manual testing as well. You start to understand developers a little better. It is possible to force developers to write autotests. In theory, you can, but most likely they will not be happy with this. Hardly anyone will be happy with this. First, it will slow down the development itself. Instead of writing the code, they will be writing autotests. And thirdly, everyone should have their area of responsibilities. Developers are writing new functionalities and testers are testing it. With autotests, everything is the same as in regular testing. The unit tests are done by developers and UI testing is completed by quality assurance analysts. It is possible to write autotest automatically. I don't want to learn programming. You can try. I tried it personally. There are recorders for these cases. However, the tests they are creating are gigantic and unsupported pieces of code. Perhaps this will work if there is a button in the application which will never change. Neither the path to it nor functionality or position will change. This test will never need to be changed and let this code live. However, in practice, this will not work because tests should be easy to maintain, understandable, and readable. Unfortunately, you cannot do this with the reader. You can use the recorders in some difficult places in the applications to see how you can interact with difficult to find element. That's it. Use this as assistant tool and not as the main automation tool. Hopefully now you got your answers to the top 5 questions which manual testers can ask about automation. Guys, if you want to learn more about IT technologies, QA testing, programming, stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to not miss new videos. We're here for you. Bye-bye.